Hello and welcome back to Betting Weekly WTA show. It's me, Nigel Seeley. I'm joined by our in-form WTA handicapper. It is Rory Jiwani. Rory, I don't want to get too carried away, but we started with winning last season. It went a bit downhill. But anyway, before we do that, congratulations. A 2-point U2 unit bet straight away to start off the year in Auckland. Corey Gauff does the business. Lovely. It doesn't matter what the price is as long as it cashes and it's value. Plus 130. She won it in first gear until the final, obviously. But
The final was a bit sticky, but as I said last week, I thought she was going to be odds on when they priced it up. So anything odds against was good, and plus 130 was value. And she cruised through to the final. Yeah, it was a little bit tricky against Elena Svitolina. Actually, in both tournaments, the bookies got it spot on. The top two in the market in both tournaments reached the final. We didn't get a result in Brisbane. Elena Rybakina was in fantastic form. Sabalenka the final Rybakina was lights out. She was absolutely incredible first set. She won the first 8 games and then she was broken. Her serve, as we've spoken about before, her serve when it's working is just phenomenal. And it was working, and she's had that time off. She had lots of niggling injuries last year, never really got a clear run. But this season she's hit the ground running.
she has, and so have we. I don't know if it's, I can't see the graphics, so it's going to be here, there, or there, wherever it is.
Somewhere.
A little figure up there. Plus 160, plus 1.6 units first week. We'd take that every week, wouldn't we?
Exactly.
That'll take that to the bank every single week. Obviously, we just spoke there. Corey Gauff obviously winning in convincing style, and Rybakina obviously the headline news. And we're going to come on to the Australian Open at the end of the show, give you some outright prices for bet with us. But we did say it there, and it was the same in the men's draw. The top 2 seeds in 3 of the 4 tournaments last week made the final. So 1v2, 1v2 in 3 finals. And also we had the number 1 seed in all 4 finals last week basically made the final. And we highlighted it last week on the show is how important it is to get out the blocks quickly with the short turnaround for the Australian Open. And we saw last week the favourite bettors got the money, didn't they?
Yep, absolutely. And, this week is very different because it's the last week before a slam. So, your players like Rybakina, even Sabalenka, even though she lost in the final, she's got her practice in. United Cup, Iga Świątek in fantastic form as Poland were beaten in the final by Germany, which was a bit of a surprise. But Świątek didn't lose I don't think she lost a set a week in the United Cup. Or maybe she lost to Caroline Garcia. She
lost 1 set.
To Garcia.
I looked at that
was
earlier.
it.
Yeah, because obviously Rybakina was sensational in her performance. And I looked at the comparison between the two.
Yeah. So, and we're going to look at the Australian Open market later. It does feel like there are 4 players in the women's game who are just that bit clearer than the rest at the moment. Maybe, as I said before, maybe Naomi Osaka will join them. She went out to Karolina Pliskova in Brisbane. Pliskova, who's won the tournament 3 times, loves it here, loves it in Brisbane. Only just lost out to Ostapenko in the 3rd round, despite serving 18 aces. Brisbane's fast. We know that. We're going to have more of the same at Adelaide. Hobart is a bit different.
Let's move on to Adelaide. And looking at the previous winners, you say in your statement there, when you're interested, that it's the week before the major and you might want to be a little bit easy, but it's probably not so much look for the favourites the week before a major. I can certainly see that at Wimbledon, certainly see that at the US Open. But the list of previous winners is pretty impressive. I mean, Bencic won it last year. Obviously, she didn't go on to bigger and better things. But Ash Barty's won it twice in the last 4 years. Iga Świątek is a winner here. So fancy players have done very well here. And the number 1 seed is Rybakina. Before we go on about Rybakina and talk about the tournament as a whole, break down the draw, you said it's going to be a similar conditions to last week. What are you thinking now? That it's going to be quick, isn't it? It's going to be fast, going to be quite quick here. The men's tournament is pretty quick as well, from what I've seen already in the early stages. We've had a round already. What do you make of the conditions?
Well, so this was Adelaide 2 last year. Obviously, last year, Adelaide 1 was replaced by Brisbane. Statistically, the quickest court conditions of 2023, with the exception of the grass of Berlin. It was a bit windy today, and I say only, to us freezing over here, but it was only 22 degrees Celsius. So low 70s Fahrenheit. It's going to get warmer during the week, up into the 30s Celsius, so low 90s Fahrenheit. It's only going to get quicker as the tournament progresses. It was quick enough today. It really was. I mean, I watched quite a bit of Paula Badosa. She lost actually to Bernarda Pera. It was Badosa's first match since Wimbledon. She's had a stress fracture of her back, and it's quick. There's no two ways about it. And Badosa was playing well, but she just ran out of gas in the third set. I mean, it was funny. I was watching it, and she was 3-2 down, and you could see. Sorry, she was 3-2 up, and she was gassed. She was gassed, and I think Pera won the next 4 games to take the match. It's going to be quick. It's going to get quicker. Badosa, I think, served 6 or 7 aces today, and she's not known as a particularly strong server. Pera, who is quite good on slower surfaces, she was very attacking today, and you have to be aggressive because it's so quick. There are not many long rallies to be had in Adelaide. It's, you get a big serve in, and then you follow up. You're looking at 3, 4, 5 shot rallies almost at a maximum. It's certainly the quickest conditions they're going to encounter for a long time.
So that's going to help Rybakina, but surprisingly, the number 1 seed isn't favourite. Just one thing I want to pick you up on there. You said it's not like the conditions here. Rory's actually in Madrid, where it is actually all right. The weather's all right. Rory's sitting there with a little jumper on. I see he's got 3 layers on him there. He's in Madrid in Spain. So I'm just looking at my window here, and I'm watching the snow falling down here. Absolutely. If I could turn the camera and show you the snow, it is absolutely.
Is it really?
Yeah. And it's settling. It's going to be quite bad snow. So very different conditions from where I am in Kent compared to what we're going to see in Adelaide. Let's have a look at the draw. Rybakina, like I said, is the number 1 seed. She's not the tournament favourite, which does surprise me, really. It actually does really surprise me, because I know it's a week before a major, but the way that she played last week, not dropping a set, but the manner of the win, 6-love, 6-1s, lots of sets, 6-1, 6-love, blitzing Sabalenka, her confidence must be sky high. And you can't even say she's going to be exhausted, because she breezed through some of these matches in 35, 40 minutes. So I'm quite surprised that she's not the favourite. The favourite is the number 2 seed, Jess Pegula, who's in the bottom half of the draw. In the top half of the draw, if it goes to the seedings, Rybakina will play Kudermetova, Vondrousova, the Wimbledon champion, will play Ostapenko. And that's probably why she isn't the favourite, because it is much more difficult in that top half. In the bottom half, Samsonova, the inconsistent Samsonova, is due to play Kazatkina or Kalinskaya, because Kalinskaya beat Krejcikova this morning. And then we have another unseeded player, Pavlyuchenkova, who beat Haddad Mayer. She looks like she could play, or possibly Karina Pliskova will play Jess Pegula. So you can see why Pegula is the favourite given the draw. But on those conditions, I don't care if it's a week before a major. You've got to fancy Rybakina. I'd like to have a match bet Rybakina to go further than Jess Pegula. But let's have a look at the outright markets currently available with BetRivers. Now head to the BetRivers website. As I said, this tournament started today, Monday. We're filming this on, started Monday overnight on Sunday. And we're filming it now, but the prices are live on BetRivers. So if you head that, the matches doesn't start till 6:30 p.m. Eastern time today on Monday. So you've got plenty of time to watch this podcast and head across to place your outright picks or future picks. So Jess Pegula in that bottom half, the number 2 seed, she's plus 225. Rybakina, the number 1 seed, is plus 240. Vondrousova, Wimbledon champion, a potential semi-finalist for Rybakina, she's plus 550. Kudermetova, quarterfinalist for Rybakina. So you can see 3 of the top 4 in the betting are in that top half. She's plus 850. Samsonova, 850. Ostapenko, also in the top half, is $10. Caroline Garcia, who is in the bottom half, the top half of the draw as well, she's 1,200, which is a loaded section. Kazatkina, 1,400. Alina Kalinskaya, 1,400. Pliskova, 22. And it's 33-1 after that. You can see the other players on the graphic that we have displayed here. Top of the market, Pegula, Rybakina. I mean, I know it's an easier draw for Jess Pegula, but surely what she did last week, Rybakina's got to be the favourite here, surely.
I mean, it's been a bit of a reaction. I'm really surprised. I'm the same as you. We're very surprised to see Pegula favourite. It's because she was a slight outside. I think Rybakina was 240 and Pegula was 250 last night. Since they've played, obviously you've had a couple of, seeds go out. So Haddad Mayer went out. She would have played Pegula, I think, in the quarters.
Yep. Krejcikova was the big one, wasn't it, in that bottom half?
And Krejcikova as well. Though Krejcikova hadn't played all season. It's her first match of the season. So it's a reaction to that. They think Pegula's got an easier path. I don't get that to be honest. I mean, as you said, Rybakina is so impressive last week. I'm not falling over myself to back either of them. With Rybakina, I know she won so easily last week, so impressive, but no, it is the last week for a slam. I'm wondering if she's going to be fully tuned up. She has had niggling injuries in the past, and that makes me just worry about her. I just think any slight niggle, I think she'll pull out, the week before the Australian Open. I think if there's anything like that, she'll pull out. She doesn't need to play this tournament. We also know how hard it is to win back-to-back tournaments on the tour. I mean, it's not easy, even if she wasn't stretched last week. I mean, all she has to do really is get her first service and she'll probably win this tournament. But, it's easier said than done. So that's why I wouldn't want to back Rybakina. With Pegula, she's just not been in great form. She lost to Katie Boulter in the United Cup. She only just beat Ajla Tomljanovic in the same tournament. I don't think she looks all that convincing. I couldn't have her at that price at all. She is good in quick conditions. That will favour her, but she's going to face players who really relish fast courts as well. Pavlyuchenkova looked very impressive against Haddad-Maia to get through. Pliskova, always to be feared in quick conditions with her serve. Samsonova, okay, she's much better than she showed last week against Mira Andreeva. But if she can get going, she could have a decent run. So, Rybakina should be favourite in my eyes. I don't want to back her just because, as I say, last week for a slam, just a little bit worried that she's not going to be going all out for this one. She's got bigger things to come.
It is a tough draw, though, for her as well. Kudermetova, Vondrousova, and then potentially Pegula before she wins the tournament. So the advice for Rybakina is watch her attitude and watch her mindset and see how she plays in a match against Buxa to see if she's really up for this or not. But I think on the conditions, and if it was the first week of the tournament, the first week of the season, Rybakina will be the favourite because it's what she did last week, and she's a week before. People, I can understand the logic of fading her. So that's really sort of leading contenders, and you've gone for someone here a little bit further down the betting list to win this, and I'm quite surprised, really, actually, to be fair, because I think she's got a very, very tough bracket, and I'm quite interested to hear your reasoning behind this. So, who is your pick in Adelaide?
Well, it's only a small. I'm keeping the stakes small, as I say, last week for a slam. It's a very open tournament. I just think Caroline Garcia might be a touch of value here. She was plus 1,600 yesterday. She's plus 1,200 today without playing a match because of the seeds that have gone out, as we said, and the tournament getting a little bit easier on paper. She wasn't brilliant in the United Cup. She was the only player to take a set off Iga Swiatek in that event. Funny enough, before that, she was also the last player to take a set off Iga Swiatek in Beijing in October. The Pole is now on a 16-match winning streak, which is pretty incredible. Garcia is one of the best, if not the best servers on tour. She has been for the last year or two. Conditions get quicker as the week goes on. I mean, she's got an easy opener against Taylor Preston, the young Australian. Then she faces the winner of Yelena Ostapenko and Sorana Castilla. That won't be easy. But after that, I just think conditions swing heavily in her favour. And if there are any sort of question marks over the sort of big names, as we've mentioned, Rybakina and Pegula, she could be the one to profit. I mean, of the other contenders, Vondrousova hasn't shown a great deal so far. We've lost Haddad-Maia. We've lost Krejcikova. Pavlyuchenkova could go well at a price. Kalinskaya is a good player in quick conditions. She knocked out Krejcikova. Kudermetova is interesting, but she's in Rybakina's quarter. And she hasn't won once against Rybakina in 3 attempts. Yesterday, Garcia was twice the price of Kudermetova. So that was my logic. So, I was sort of basing it when she was priced at plus 1,600. At plus 1,200, I think she's still just about worth a bet. So it looks a tough tournament to pick the winner from, unless, obviously, if Rybakina goes out all guns blazing, she wins this. No question. My doubt would be whether she's going to be fully tuned up for this. So I'm going to have a half point each way bet on Garcia. As I said, her serve is so good when it's working. As the week goes on, it should get better. And yeah, she hasn't got the easiest bracket, but I think she could outrun her odds.
So a half unit pick there on Garcia in Adelaide. Remember, the market will be suspended at 6:30 p.m. this evening on the BetRivers website. So make sure you head across there and take the price on the French girl when you can. She's 12-1. She should get through her first match, and then it will set up potentially a very interesting trading match in round 2 against Ostapenko. I mean, that is two flakiest two tennis players you've ever seen in your life. Whoever gets down
betting
to
on that will be
minus $20, you want to oppose them, fade them every opportunity you can. That could go on forever. It might, the Australian Open might be started when that one's. But I always love Garcia. I think Garcia is probably one of the most enjoyable tennis players to watch on the women's circuit. She's got every shot. I remember watching her play at the French Open this year, or last year, sorry. And she played an epic match, and she hit winners, and the whole crowd were going crazy. And then when the expectation of the crowd got to her, she completely bottled it, really. And that's been her problem.
She's never a good
years.
favourite. She's never been a good favourite.
But on her day, she's brilliant. She's brilliant.
She is. I remember Andy Murray calling her future world #1 years ago, and she's never quite delivered on that. She had a real spell in the doldrums, and then was it a couple of years ago she suddenly came back, and
she's had some issues off the court as well. She's had some mental health issues as well, and it's always good to get with them players at the start of the year when they're feeling good about the game again. So hopefully she has a bit of an upswing in the next few months.
Yeah.
And starting this week in Adelaide, 12
would be nice.
Would be very, very nice to add to that profit. So a very, very small each way, only a half a unit each way at 12-1. Caroline Garcia, she's in the top half of the draw. And that starts 6:30 p.m. This evening, Eastern time in Adelaide. Now, just one thing before we leave, that's a WTA 500 event. So there's a bit more prize money and a bit more to play for the players. And obviously that's an incentive for players to play a little bit better. And you would tend to find that the favourites will go a little bit stronger in a 500 event compared to a 250 event. And that is what we've got next up, a 250 event. Now, Rory, if you can solve the puzzle of this one, then I'd be very, very impressed, because I'm looking at it and I'm scratching my head so much. Whatever hair I've got is falling out at an alarming rate. We're over in Hobart in the lovely New Zealand, and these matches.
Oh, Tasmania.
Tasmania.
It's another island.
Yes, sorry, that way in Australasia, whatever it is. 6 p.m. Eastern time. These matches start, so a half hour earlier than Adelaide. So you have the chance to get your picks on early. This is Rory's suggestions, and get your bets down early. Head to the BetRivers website. There's also a load of matches as well on there, and obviously you can. We've been putting some stuff out with the betting insights, betting angles, on the BetRivers YouTube channel and also on our socials, and to give you some picks and some suggestions for your match bets. And if you do place any one of the bets that we suggest there, or any bet on the matches on the WTA or the ATP Tour, you can watch the match live stream on your tablet or your home computer as well. So make sure you check out the betting angles, which are going out on our YouTube and also on our socials. Okay, moving on to Hobart. You say it's going to be slow. You watched any action today? It's a lot slower than Adelaide. What are the conditions like here before I go through the list of runners and riders?
Yeah, it's chilly. It was 13 degrees Celsius today, so that's mid-50s Fahrenheit with a strong breeze. It was so cold, most of the women were wearing leggings. I mean, that's how unseasonably cold it was. It will warm up as the week goes on, and conditions will get slightly quicker. But as I said, I was switching between Badosa Pera and Daria Saville against Anna Blinkova. I was sort of changing channels, and you could see the contrast between sort of smash bang on in Adelaide and much more drawn out rallies in Hobart, and then even more so for the later match, which was Lin Zhu against Lucia Bronzetti, which I had a bit of a vested interest in, which I'll go into more detail later. But yeah, it's slow, and last year it played much the slowest of the Australian Open warm-up tournaments, and it's proving to be the case again this year. And the big match today was Elise Mertens against Danielle Collins. Mertens, a two-time former winner, against Collins, who she's always had injury issues, and she's on the comeback trail. Surprisingly, I think she was priced up as the favourite for this tournament, and now she's out. She went out in straight sets. Mertens winning fairly comfortably, and these slower conditions definitely, as I say, she's won it twice before this tournament, definitely in the Belgians' favour.
And the Belgium is now the tournament favourite, and she's the #1 seed. So that just shows you how bad quality the tournament is if Elise Mertens is the favourite here. Second favourite is Sophie Kennin. I mean, that sums it up in 2 words there. Let's have a look at the draw and look at the bracket. In the top half of the draw, we had that 2 times champion and the tournament favourite Mertens as the number 1 seed. She should make the quarterfinal where she meets Krejcikova. Krejcikova, I can never say that. Varvara Krejcikova.
Oh, yeah.
I've got it.
Gracheva.
Thank you. Lin Ju is the 3rd seed, and then we have Kenning. So that's the top half of the draw. In the bottom half of the draw, we have Bazukova, whatever. And it's Wang. You love it when I go for these days. Wang, Maria, and Navarro. So it's not really a tough tournament to win if someone hits a bit of form here. It's gonna take not much to win at all, and it's not much prize money. It's a 250 event, which means that a lot of people will just be using it as a warm-up event for the Australian Open. I know it's a chance to get a title under your belt, but really, I mean, it's not the greatest one. I mean, Heather Watson's won this tournament before, so the Brits, which shows you how much there is people really take for that. Lauren Davis is defending champion as well, so it's anyone's tournament, and I find it really difficult. So I'm going to all ears to find out what you think here. These are the odds. Mertens is 4-1. Sophie Kenning is 5-1. Bazokova is 5.50. Lin Ju is $9. Navarro is 11. Wang is 12. Sloane Stephens at 14. Krejcikova at 16. Roos 16. Sorribes Tormo 18. Trevisan at 22 and 25-1. Some of the rags there down the bottom of the betting market. I wouldn't really know where to start here. I think I would say that the top half was slightly tougher than the bottom half of the draw, so maybe some each way value in the bottom half of the draw. But if you can predict who's going to get through that top half, you're more than likely going to be on the tournament favourite when we get to the final stage. But over to you, Robbie, because I wouldn't have a clue where to start on this one.
Yeah, I mean, Mertens faces Anna Karolina Schmiedlova next, and that won't be easy because Schmiedlova's pretty useful in slow conditions. We saw that by her run at Roland Garros. That quarter does look tough. Next up for the winner of that would be either Arantxa Rus or Varvara Gracheva, who is useful. The bottom half, Emma Navarro's number 2 seed. I mentioned last week, she finished last year really well, winning a challenger in Charleston. She made the semis in Auckland before being well beaten by Coco Gauff. Her first round opponent's Clara Burel, who's the French woman, who's someone I fancy to have a half decent year, actually. And then Sara Sorribes Tormo would probably be her second round opponent. You mentioned Lauren Davis, the defending champion. She's injured. She had to miss the event. She beat Elisabetta Cocciaretto in the final. Cocciaretto's in the 3rd quarter. And in the second quarter, you've got Sophia Kennin, as you mentioned. She made the semis last year. I actually backed her to win it last year, and I was a bit annoyed that she got beaten in the semis, but she's seeded 6th. I actually had a bet on this last night because knowing Mertens and Collins were playing each other, well, that's one of your favourites out. So I thought I had a dart at Lin Ju last night at plus 1,600. She's now plus 900. I thought, she won the tournament in Hua Hin last year in Thailand, which was the slowest conditions in the entire year, slower than even any of the clay court events. She's really good at just toughing it out from the back of the court. She's capable on quicker courts too. She beat Danielle Collins last week in Brisbane, and then she was demolished by Arina Sabalenka. It's no surprise or disgrace in that. Today, she had a bit of a scare in the first set. She saved 2 set points against Lucia Bronzetti. She came back to win fairly comfortably in the end. Very open tournament, usual disclaimers about it being the last week for the slam and et cetera, et cetera. I thought she was massive at plus 1,600. I don't think she's a bet now at plus 900. I think she's too short now. And looking at the draw and looking at the prices, the player I like is Sara Sorribes Tormo, who's shown time and again that when the conditions are slow, she's a very, very tough opponent. Yes, she's a bit of a pusher. Clay's her best surface. She doesn't hit many winners, but she gets the ball back and she stays in rallies and she forces errors from her opponents. And when the conditions are slow, she's a player who can do a lot of damage. She's in the bottom quarter, which definitely looks the weakest. Navarro in round 2. I'm not sure Navarro would handle someone like Sorribes Tormo, who, as I say, just gets everything back, doesn't make unforced errors. conditions will get slightly quicker as the week progresses, but they won't be fast by any stretch. Again, it's small stakes, half point each way, but at plus 1,800, Sorribes Tormo's my bet.
So Sorribes Tormo at plus 1,800, so 18 to 1. And obviously Bet Rivers offer each way the half the odds 1-2. So you get 9 to 1 for Sorribes, the Spaniard, to make the final. So if you don't understand how that works, half of your wager will be on her to win it, and half of your wager will be on her to make the final. So when Rory says half a point each way, you have two separate wagers, one to win it and one to make the final. So 18 to 1 and 9 to 1. And that goes alongside our pick of Garcia at 12 to 1, who's also a half point each way. So we're getting 6 to 1 for the French lady to make the final there. So Garcia and Sorribes Tormo and Ling Zhu, just keep an eye on them. Probably matches Rory rather than, you can't say got 9 to 1, but if she gets to the final, semi-final at a decent price against a more sort of difficult opponent as far as the betting is concerned, maybe have a little small bet on her in match bets.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she showed today that I was impressed by her because she did struggle in the first set, but seemed to adjust to conditions quite well. I think it was 4-all in the first set, and then she was 5-all, and then she saved a couple of set points, won it 7-1, 7-5, and then won the second set 6-1. And Bronzetti just made a few more errors, and Lin Zhu just, does what she does. She's quite deceptive because she doesn't look like she's hitting the ball particularly hard, but she does produce winners. She's got a good inside-out forehand amongst other shots, and she's going to be difficult in these conditions, I feel. But as I say, at the prices, I think Sorribes Tormo's the one to back.
Now, this is your show, the viewers' show. So give us any questions, anything you want, any questions you want to ask. The Australian Open is coming very, very fast. So ask us any questions you want, any strategy. Happy to answer them for myself, for Rory, or for Sean. But the crew's back. The band, we've got the band back together, and the schedule is going to be as this. So every Sunday, it'll be myself and Sean going through the ATP Tour tournament winner market on Game Bet Match. On Mondays, I'll join Rory to look at the WTA event on Game Bet. On the WTA tennis, looking at the outright markets and tournament futures there. And on a Tuesday and Wednesday, back again with Sean, looking at the best match bets on the ATP Tour. So 4 days a week, myself, Rory and Sean will be across the network. And the network is the Betting Weekly Studios on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to keep across all that content. Ring that bell and we will notify you on every single time anything drops. Also subscribe to not only our YouTube channel, but also follow us on our Instagram and also on our Twitter, where we share the handle at Because We Win. There's some fantastic stuff coming there. And obviously next week, the build up to the Australian Open will be a couple of days earlier when the draw breaks, probably Friday or Saturday, giving the outright picks on the Australian Open. But traditionally, week on week, it's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where we'll be covering all the tennis action for you here on the Betting Weekly Studios. Before we go, Rory, we have to talk about the Australian Open, and you touched on it there. You mentioned that we may have a year where the top four sort of dominate, and it's certainly looking that way on the start of the year. I mean, we're looking at the records here. Swiatek went 5-0, and she's on, like you said, an unbelievable run, winning run. Rybakina has gone 5-0 to start the year. Corey Gauff has gone 5-0 to start the year. And Sabalenka's 4, and the only one she's got beaten against was one of those opponents, but she was humiliated really by Rybakina, going 4-1. And it's not surprised that those 4 players dominate the Australian Open market, and they are pulling away from the pack. There's no doubt about it. Iga Swiatek is plus 225 to win the Australian Open. Rybakina is plus 475. Sabalenka is $5. Coco Gauff is $7. Pegula is 17. Naomi Osaka 25. Qinwen Zhang is 30. Ons Jabeur is 30. I mean, really, realistically, are we going to see? We saw upsets with Von Drusefer at Wimbledon. You got to think that those top 4 are going to dominate all the majors this year. You can see finals and semi-finals contested those 4 because they are pulling away now at an alarming rate.
Yeah, as I said, the only one I see sort of breaking into that is Naomi Osaka on her return. As I say, her comeback didn't last very long at Brisbane, but I think she showed enough. So she went out to Pliskova in quick conditions. Pliskova was serving very, very well. I think she showed enough to warrant being a threat. And that price of $25 wouldn't put me off either. But I think right now, I don't think I'm going to wait to
Truthfully,
see the draw.
I'm not. I mean, she is a proven player, but she, she went to Chris. She went through. Do you honestly think that she could go toe to toe with one of those four in a major?
Not at the start of the
she's not going to be seeded either. She could have a tough run.
That's why I want to wait for the draw, because she could end up with one of the big four in the first round, and I wouldn't fancy her chances at all. And come the end of the tournament, come to the sort of quarter or semis, she might have a chance. She'd have more of a chance, but early on, you just want to see her have some sort of looseners and get going. So yeah, I hope that her price sort of increases perhaps based on this week, and she gets an easy draw, easy first couple of matches to get her into it. But no, right now as it stands, the top four are well clear. And if I had to pick value out of the top four, it might well be Gauff.
That's exactly. I was just about to come to that point. I was going to say to you, people say to you on these shows, "Oh, if you had a $10 free bet, well, $10 free bet, you're going to go for something at 50 or 60 because you want to try to $10. Oh, I want it. But if you were given a $1,000 free bet or a $500 free bet, what would you have that on?"
Yeah, I think out of those four, because the thing to also recognise is that, especially looking at statistics from last season, the speeds. The Australian Open played very similar to the US Open, and Gauff won it. So there is I know last year, the final was Rybakina Sabalenka. Gauff wasn't playing very well. Swiatek, I'd say Swiatek is a worthy favourite. She's improved her game on quick surfaces. She's got a bigger serve. She's slightly modified her action on her serve. She's more attacking. She looks a more complete player than she has done on quicker surfaces. So if she's going to win the Australian Open, I think this is going to be her year. Obviously, if it does play quick, which it still could, then Rybakina is a real threat. But if it doesn't play as quick, I mean, it's not going to play as quick as the tournaments we've just seen, as Auckland or Brisbane or Adelaide. It's going to be quicker than Hobart, but it's not going to be as quick as the ones we've just seen. So I feel there's almost a little bit of recency bias. Yes, it's quick. These surfaces are quick. The Australian Open probably won't play as quick, and that really brings Coco Gauff into the equation.
I think she's at the moment, I think each way Gauff to get plus 350 and making the final almost the same kind of price as Rybakina to win the tournament, I think is definitely value. I don't think there's much between I think Swiatek is the market leader and the best player in the world by some distance. Well, not some distance, by a distance. But I think the next three on their day, you never know with Rybakina what's going to turn up. She's so fragile. Whereas Gauff now, I think she knows how to win a major. She's got a great management time. She's, like I said last time we spoke, she's the highest paid sportswoman in the world. She's got an arrogance and a confidence around her as well at the same time. On the court, she's arrogant, very confident player. And she's got a nation behind her, and I think she's going to go closer. I think she's at 7-1. She would be my bet. But that is all to come. Let's solve the puzzle at Hobart first before we go on to. That's the hardest thing of the week. Thank you very much for watching. Keep your comments coming. Please subscribe. Keep liking the shows we're doing, and keep comments. The more comments you give and the more interaction we have, the higher we hit on the algorithms, and we can keep answering your questions and keep going up and getting those ratings high. We need to really push it up in 2024. We want to really get those ratings up, and we can do it with your help. So please retweet this or send it out to your friends and let them know what you think. And obviously, Rory's in form at the moment. So we want to make the most of it, because we can change very quickly. Rory, have a great day, my friend. Enjoy yourself. I'm going to go and wrap up and go and make a snowman out in the garden or be bombarded with snowballs by a load of school kids as they come home from school. Anyway, take care. All the very best and good luck this week with all your bets. Take care. Back tomorrow with myself and Sean on Game Bet Match.